Even though the game is 13 years old, it's still a lot of fun. I highly recommend it, and I still really enjoy it today. Oh no. After a few years of owning LEGO Racers 1, I was looking through an old LEGO magazine one day, and I noticed a preview for a game called LEGO Racers 2. This was the first time I ever saw the game, but I remember wanting it really badly. At this point, the game was about 6 years old, and no store had it, not even Big Lots, because they already cleared out all their LEGO games. But one day, while my 9-year-old self was at one of my friends' houses, I saw randomly that he had LEGO Racers 2 for PC, and I asked him if we could trade one time, and he said sure. And the game I ended up trading him was, Spy Kids Learning Adventures, which was a really crappy learning game. Man, this box art is just terrible. I mean, just look at Junie. It's like he's saying, you don't want to play this game. And look at these stereotypical animated people. What are they doing? Anyway, I had really high hopes for LEGO Racers 2, and that was mostly because I had played LEGO Racers 1 constantly. As soon as I got home, I put the game into my PC and installed it. The game's intro starts out with Rocket Racer being all depressed. This is his reaction to losing the last race in LEGO Racers 1, which is funny because after actually beating him in the first game, he's actually happy and excited for you. He's not depressed whatsoever, but here he is. Cause you had a bad day, you take it one down, you sing a sad song just to turn it around. Wait a minute, did you catch that? Look what it says on the back of the flyer. Now tell me what this says. It looks like just a bunch of random letters. I see what they're trying to do here. They're trying to make it look like there's an article on the back, but really there's not, cause it's just a bunch of gibberish. Look, they even put random special characters. I wonder who thought that this was a good idea. I'd love to know. Anyway, Rocket Racer gets an idea to get back into racing, so he drives his car through a portal which leads him to Alex. But wait a minute, who are these creatures? And what the hell are they doing in the LEGO universe? These don't look like minifigures whatsoever. I think I just went from playing LEGO Racers 2 to playing LEGO Bionicle Racers. Cause that's logical. So then these things chase after Rocket Racer. And then suddenly Rocket Racer's car transforms into a totally brand new car. Now how did that happen? Did he get help from the Fairly Odd Parents? Wait a minute, his car didn't transform, it just changed colors. But even with its problems, I still like the game's intro. However, I don't think it's as good as the first game's intro. But this one is still action-packed and exciting. And then comes the main menu. Now let's all take a gander and listen to this incredible music. Now compare that with the menu music for LEGO Racers 1. There's no contest. The intro music for LEGO Racers 1 is much, much better. Even if it makes you fall out of your seat, it gets you excited to play the game. This upbeat music reminds me of a fast Ferrari, but the menu music for LEGO Racers 2 reminds me of an old beat-up car that doesn't run. It just sits there and doesn't run. It doesn't do anything. Yeah. Anyway, when you click on the builder option, you get the choice to build for player 1 or player 2. Then you can start building your character or car. Building your character is exactly like how it was in the original LEGO Racers, but there's one major difference. Your friend Sparky here now tells you the controls. All you do is press the left and right arrows and the enter button, which is why I find Sparky completely unnecessary. Now take a look at this character selection. They kept a few of the original guys from LEGO Racers 1, but they added in a whole lot of just weird characters too. I'm also not a fan of the clothes selection either. I like the original way more. And by default, your character name is 1UP. Now that doesn't make any sense. And when we're all done, 1UP here decides to throw a random party. And then you get to build your car. This time around, they give you much more car models to pick, which is definitely a step in the right direction, but they totally changed the car building interface. Remember how everything was organized in the interface in the original LEGO Racers? Well, now, everything's much harder to find. Everything in LEGO Racers 2 is done with the keyboard, so that means Sparky has to tell you all the controls. And what the hell happened to all those useful buttons? I don't know how they did it, but it seems that all the fun of building a car in the first game was taken away in the sequel. So you know what I did? I just chose a pre-made car. Most of them look okay, but some of them just look... me no gusta. So I ended up picking this one, and then Sparky says, "Alright, that's a cool car, bro." I think he would say that no matter which car I picked. Even this one. And then it's time to start our epic quest. There are 5 different worlds, and you start out in Sandy Bay. Oh god, Sparky is talking to me. What language is he even speaking in? Does this LEGO language even exist? Listen to him. Just listen to him. He's saying the same thing over and over again. Ugh. How did they even make this? Anyway, Sir Gibberish tells you to meet him at the beach. Oh, I'm gonna kill you, you son of a... What? Wait, did you see that? Whenever you try to run over somebody, they just change colors. You know what? I think I am playing LEGO Bionicle Racers. It would make much more sense if he fell down or just flew away. But changing colors? No. I'm playing LEGO Bionicle Cyborg Racers. I mean, just look at this. I guess somebody thought that programming magnets into the ground was a great idea. Good job, guys. Yeah, you did a great job. Great job, guys. So then stupid Sparky makes us go back into town. So Sparky tells me to go meet him at the beach. I go there, then he tells me to go back into town when I was just at the town. Oh, Sparky, you little bastard. So I drive my ass back into town, and look, I had to drive back to exactly where I started. Look, I started out right there, but then Sparky makes me drive down to the beach, and then he tells me to go back into town so that I can go right back to where I started. So Sparky makes me unnecessarily drive around when I could just drive the 5 feet to go right here. Sparky, your logic makes no damn sense. Anyway, everyone over here starts debating about who's the fastest racer. And just listen, they all have the same exact voice. Unbelievable. Oh, and if you hold the enter button while people are talking, you can actually speed up their voices, because everybody knows that kids are impatient. So our first race is against Workman Fred. But guess what we gotta do before the race? Why, drive around, of course. Once you meet Workman Fred in a random place, the race starts. The first thing you'll probably notice about the gameplay is that it's all open world. In LEGO Racers 1, every race was on a closed course. And I'm okay with this, but you'll be doing about 5 races per world, so the races get a bit stale. They also redid the power-up system. There's this huge bubble thing, this saucer thing right out of Beyblade, an invisibility potion, and even a rocket that targets the person in first place, just like the blue shell in Mario Kart. But it's represented by a dog. Oh yeah, that makes sense, because I remember just the other day I saw a canine riding a rocket. Oh, you don't remember seeing it? Well, that's too bad, because it definitely happened. This? Yeah, true. So after you beat Workman Fred, it's on to Mike the Postman. And after you beat him, then the same thing happens again. That's right, I found a glitch. After you beat Mike the Postman, he'll start talking like you're gonna race again, and then the same exact race starts again. Even if you try to quit the race, then you'll return right back. So the only way to quit LEGO Racers 2 was for me to do Control-Alt-Delete. Oh, Control-Alt-Delete, you're a lifesaver. Oh, and whatever you do, don't press the shift button during a race because it might lead you to talking to a minifigure. This pauses you and everyone else on the track, so it's not a huge deal, but it just gets really annoying. This actually happened to me again, but this time Mike the Postman kept going, so sometimes this is actually helpful. But other times there will be random crap on the track, like this car. But I wouldn't be surprised if Sparky put that there. Aw, crap, I lost. And what happens when Mike the Postman wins? Why, he throws a wild... Then 1-Up will actually bully Mike the Postman. And the epic battle rages on. And so after that, you keep racing the other people at Sandy Bay. A lot of the places in Sandy Bay are pretty cool, but a lot of times you'll just be racing on the same track you were racing on before. Come on, Workman Rob, was it really necessary for you to interrupt the race? That time I didn't even press the shift button, I just happened to drive off course. Oh my god, and yet again, I'm stopped by another workman, or a foreman stew? Really? Stew? Foreman stew? Stew? And after beating the policeman, then you actually get to advance right to Rocket Racer in Exalix. But Sparky has to ruin it since you have to practice before you actually get to Rocket Racer. And then 1-Up says, oh gee, how am I going to do that? Seriously? Seriously, 1-Up? You don't know how you're gonna practice? Okay then, I have an idea. How about you just, oh I don't know, jump off a cliff? My god, does everyone in the LEGO universe have to be an idiot?
Yes! Yes!
Oh my god, are you kidding me? I'm stuck in the endless loop of a race again. So now I have to race the policeman for a second time. And after I beat him the third time, then it'll start this race again. And if I try to quit, then it'll start this race again. I guess it all depends on how close to the police station you get. And I didn't save, so now I have to go back and race the postman again. And risk getting caught in the endless race loop again. Again. But the good news is that even if you haven't beaten the game, then you can race on any track you want. The only difference is that the story won't be there. So now it's on to Dino Island, where we have people running around. Now who came up with this? This isn't something that belongs in a racing game. Are they trying to copy Sonic R? I can't believe this. I seriously cannot believe this. I mean, just look at it, look. I mean, this isn't right. It doesn't make any sense. No! No! So basically, if you hit too many things or get bombarded by items, then you'll lose your car and you'll have to finish the race by running. And the only way to get your car back during the race is to go to the pit stop. But at least it's fun to hit people around. Now when you get to Dino Island, it seems that the AI goes from being pretty good to mediocre. Just look what happened here. And then you will advance to the third world, which is Mars. And this is where things start to get pretty monotonous. On one of the tracks, you'll be given a choice to go one of two ways. Here, the track narrows, so I find myself hitting the walls multiple times. But then the track cuts back down to just one way, and it comes up pretty quick. How would you have the quick reflexes to turn right the first time playing through this track? The problem is, it just comes up way too quickly. And yes, I know that there's an arrow telling you which way to go, but this just creates a hazard between you and the other racers. Eventually, you will crash into somebody else. And again, much like Sandy Bay, this part of the track shows up a couple different times during the races in Mars. Surprisingly, Mars is one of my least favorite worlds in this game. The landscapes and where they have you drive just aren't all that interesting. And speaking of where they make you drive right in front of the path of a robot on one of the races. That's just so annoying. And then there's the Arctic, which is one of my favorite worlds. But the snow effects are way too heavy. Who in their right mind would have a race in these kinds of conditions? And then we have Exalix, which takes place in a giant stadium. But my big problem here is that the landscape is not very interesting at all. Most of the landscape is just really flat. Oh, and by the way, this race right here is the worst race in the entire game. It's so short, and it's only a figure 8, which makes you vulnerable to hitting other players. And the last race in Exalix is of course against Rad Racer, but I don't have footage of him since I kept getting caught in that endless loop. And the final race is very boring. All it is just a circle and you have to avoid walls. As a kid, I actually remember the final race of Rad Racer being very easy, especially when you compare it to the final race of LEGO Racers 1. I mean, that crap was totally hard when I was a kid. It took me about 50 tries to beat Rad Racer since he kept using the warp. But in LEGO Racers 2, this race was, and still is, a piece of cake. Now you may think that I hate LEGO Racers 2, but that's actually not true at all. I had fun and still do have fun with this game. But when you compare it to the original, it just seems that the original has much more charm than the second game, and that's not because of the nostalgia factor. I grew up with both of these games, and they're very dear to my heart, especially the first one. But I say that because the second game just has so many little things here and there that make it worse than LEGO Racers 1. Don't get me wrong, this is a good game. LEGO Racers 2 is a good game, but it just has so many little problems. I mean, just the laziness of the developers, those things, the lack of good music, the lack of minifigures and cars that you can make, the repetitiveness of the LEGO language, the lack of logic, the new power-ups that are mostly rip-offs, that horrible race loop glitch, the repetitiveness of the tracks, the interruption in the middle of the races, the idiotic minifigures, the ripping off of Sonic freaking R, and of course, that bastard Sparky, are all bad contributing factors to LEGO Racers 2. LEGO Racers 2 is a good game, but with a lot of problems. If you're gonna play one, then go with LEGO Racers 1. Damn you, unintentional rhyming. But what I think absolutely needs to happen is LEGO Racers 3. Now I do know that there exists LEGO Drome Racers, but that game was dramatically different from LEGO Racers 1 and 2. But I think what we really need is LEGO Racers 3. But make it based off the first game, and not as much as the second game. Heck, even a remake of the original would be great. Just somebody give us LEGO Racers 3. Do it. Do it now. Yeah, right now. Come on. Do it.